Bout Time with Rashawn's Bout Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. What's up to my Bout Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to every single one of y'all, man, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, share the videos, and leave the comments. If you have not already subscribed to the channel and you're watching this video or any of my videos for the first time, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button to stay up on the latest with Rashawn's Bout Time Boxing. So I was at the fight last night, Jaron Ennis versus David Avanesyan, and I expected the day after a lot of people to be extremely critical of Jaron Ennis's performance, and a lot of people now who was once like in favor of Jaron Ennis, now all of a sudden they switching. But this is but you got to expect that in boxing. Like I said, over here in Rashawn's Bout Time Boxing, we give fighters credit whether we like fighters or not. And it seems to be some discrepancies about, my last video in reference to Jaron Ennis fighting David Avanesyan. And I made some comments of, pertaining to Terrence Crawford, but it wasn't nothing that was, like saying something bad about, because I say this all the time. Terrence Crawford is one of my favorite fighters in boxing. And he is, pound for pound, one of the best. Absolutely. 3-division world champion, 2-time undisputed. Come on, that speaks for itself. And the boy can fight. He is straight dog. The boy, listen, he can rumble. But Jaron Ennis is special too. And a lot of people are trying to make it seem like he's not. Especially, because all right, so on one hand, you got, when Jaron Ennis was knocking everybody out, everybody was like, yeah, man, but what's going to happen when his chin get touched? What's gonna happen when he get hit? You know what I mean? Oh, you gotta see how he gonna react once he get hit. Well, he got hit, and he reacted. You know what I'm saying? Like, and now everybody's saying, and I figured everybody was gonna be like, oh man, if that was Terrence Crawford catching him like that, it'd have been lights out. Nobody, listen, y'all can be skeptical and y'all can say that all y'all want, but if and until the fight happens, nobody knows. Because look at the shots Jaron Ennis was catching David Avanesyan with. You could say the same thing. What if Jaron Ennis was catching Terrence Crawford with those shots? Because David Avanesyan had, he had his moments in both fights. He had, in the matter of fact, in the first round when he fought Terrence Crawford, when he caught Bud with that overhand right, Bud switched southpaw. And he fought like that for the remainder of the fight. And then he caught him with that left uppercut and right hook in the 6th round and put him out. But it's called making adjustments. That's what special fighters do. That's what smart fighters do. And you got people out here making videos like, oh, we looking for the next Floyd Mayweather, the next Roy Jones, the next Sugar Ray Leonard. But realistically, Roy Jones, as good as Roy Jones was, and Roy Jones was one of the best. But if you really look at it, Roy never really had defense. Roy just let his hands go. That's what Roy Jones was known for doing. He really didn't have defense. Roy let his hands go. He had an awkward style, throw the straight right hand, leap in left hook, and get you, he get you hurt. He'd let his hands go and throw a lot of punches. That's what Roy Jones did. Roy didn't really have no serious defense. Now, James Toney, on the other hand, James Toney had, had really good defense. Floyd Mayweather had really good defense. But even, and they saying like, oh, well, you got to be like Floyd Mayweather and not get hit. People referencing the stuff that Andre Ward said, that the best chin is the chin that don't get hit. But even his chin got hit in boxing. It happens. If you ever see, there's a lot of people making these comments that, most of these people never put no gloves on. They never been in a ring, and they don't know what it's like when you actually in there with somebody. I've been in a ring. I know what it's like, when people trying to, walk you down, and you trying to, you got to outthink your opposition and all that, but you're going to get hit. You cannot swim without getting wet. period. You can't. A car needs a driver. You cannot swim without getting wet. That's the bottom line. Even when Floyd fought Maidana, Floyd had trouble with Maidana in both fights, the first one and the second one. And in the second one, after Floyd won the fight, when they did the Maidana Mayweather 2 epilogue, when Floyd was at home watching the fight, and Floyd saw himself get caught with that shot when Maidana stunned him, you can read Floyd's mouth. Floyd said, he hurt me with that shot. You know, Shane Mosley had success against Floyd in the second round. Dazed Floyd had Floyd, you know, wobbled on his feet. But Floyd was able to make the adjustments. Why? Because he proved that he could take a punch and that he had a chin. People used to say Floyd was scared to get hit. Oh, people used to say, oh, Floyd, all he do was run, all he do was run. Floyd wasn't running. Floyd was smart. Floyd knew how to, you know, he had a tight defense. But the reality is, I don't care how tight your defense is, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. And Jaron Ennis, he had a year layoff. Now, y'all remember, you know, before Cameron Duncan, his former promoter, NOW Promotions, before Cameron Duncan died, and he died a few months back, but he was having some issues with NOW Promotions, and I think they were suing them, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can drop the comments in the comment section below and let me know if I'm right or not. But he was having issues with Cameron Duncan and NOW Promotions. So he was out of the ring for a year. But Terrence Crawford is going to be fighting August 3rd. That'll be 13 months for him that he's been out of the ring. Last time he fought was July 29th of 2023 when he beat Errol Spence. And before he fought Errol Spence, he fought David Avanesyan, and he was only off for 7 months. He fought David Avanesyan. 7 months later, he fought Errol Spence. And after that, he hasn't been in the ring. So what are y'all going to say when Terrence Crawford fight Israel Madrimov, and if he have issues with him? What are y'all going to say then if Bud have issues with him? Because he had a year layoff. But see, I'm not really expecting Bud to have too many issues with Madrimov, because Madrimov is relative. I think Terrence Crawford is going to exploit his inexperience because he's relatively inexperienced. He's 10-0 with 7 KOs, Madrimov is. And so, you know, like I'm saying, you know, if and until the fight between Terrence Crawford and Jaron Ennis happens, nobody can say, you know, what's going to happen. Or if Terrence Crawford caught him with them same shots that Avanesyan was catching him with, it'd be lights out. Oh, but Jaron caught Avanesyan with some shots. So what if, you know, vice versa? What if it was Jaron Ennis catching Terrence Crawford with those shots? Because apparently, you know what I mean, Avanesyan, he didn't want to answer the bell. He made him quit on his stool because he knew if he came out that corner, what was going to happen next. And maybe he had flashbacks of being knocked out by Terrence Crawford and was like, no, I'm not going to let this happen again. He knew that was what was going to happen next. If he'd have answered that bell, that fight wasn't going that next round. You know, it just seemed like people want to be critical of Jaron Ennis. You know, Bud stopped Delorme in 6 rounds. Jaron Ennis knocked him out on 1 round. But when Terrence Crawford knocked him out, it's a sign of his greatness. Jaron Ennis knocked him out, and it's, oh, well, you know, he's not the same fighter that he was when Bud fought him. You know what I mean? And even, you know, when Eddie Hearn said that David Avanesyan was a world-class fighter, and then Terrence Crawford made a comment like, world-class fighter, huh? You know, but if he's not a world-class fighter, then why did Terrence Crawford fight him then if he's not a world-class fighter? Because before he fought Avanesyan, remember, you know, nobody didn't know he was even fighting Avanesyan, because supposedly him and Errol Spence was supposed to fight November 19th of that same year, 2022. But it ended up being that he fought David Avanesyan in December. But nobody criticized Terrence Crawford for fighting Avanesyan, though. And when Bud knocked him out, it was a sign of his greatness. But, you know, Jaron Ennis, you know, but Boots didn't make up no excuses even. He didn't even make up no excuses for the punches that you know, the little shots that he got caught with. He said, you know, look, you know, I didn't think that, you know, me being off for that year would really affect me like that. You know, he said, I got to listen to my dad more. You know what I mean? He ain't make up no excuses like Shakur Stevenson did. And this ain't no shot at Shakur Stevenson either, but Shakur was arguing with his grandfather in the corner. His grandfather was trying to tell him what to do. You can't come forward and let your hands go, you know, in exchange with somebody and not expect to get hit. Because I believe it was, the fourth round when Bud fought Avanesyan. He stood in there, went toe-to-toe with him and took some shots. So you can't come forward and let your hands go, you know, and not expect to, you know, to get hit in the exchange. Because the same way you trying to get off, you know, your opposition is trying to get off too. So you can't, it don't work like that. And maybe, you know, Shakur Stevenson didn't want to let his hand. He didn't want to take the chance of opening up. Because when you let your hands go, you take the risk of opening up and possibly getting caught. And those who put gloves on before and have been in a ring and box, you know that. But see, it's easier for a lot of people who've never been in a ring, you know, and I'm not talking about if you wore a pair of boxing gloves and you hit the bag and all that. No, I'm talking about being in there with an actual body. Somebody who boxes too, somebody, you know what I mean? So unless you've been in that type of situation, then you couldn't possibly understand. And you don't understand the risk that it really entails. Other fighters do. And that's why even Timothy Bradley said, oh, well, you know, Shakur Stevenson didn't want to take the risk of letting his hands go and getting caught in the exchange. There's no way you can do that. If you let your hands go, the only way you can let your hands go and possibly not get hit is if you catch your opposition with a good shot and they're already wobbled and then they go into a shell. And they go into a shell, then you can let your hands go and get off on them. And that's what Roy Jones was infamous for doing. Roy Jones would catch you with a shot, get you hurt, and then he would just boop, 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 and he'd unload on you and let his hands go. That's what he would do. So that's the only way you can do that. But if your opposition is not hurt and you step into them and you opening up, letting your hands go, getting off, it's possible you're going to get caught in the exchange. So first people question whether Jaron Ennis could take a punch. And then when he take a punch, it's like, oh, now they want to criticize him for it. Oh, well, he didn't look good. Oh, man. Well, the fight didn't go 12 rounds. Avanesyan quit on his stool. And his face was bloody. So, I mean, but this is the type of stuff that I expect, and then for these people, man, like, listen, like I said, Terrence Crawford is, without a doubt, pound for pound, one of the best. But Jaron Ennis is one of the best, too. And the only reason why a lot of y'all not giving him his credit for that and saying that he's not is because he didn't fight Terrence Crawford, or he didn't fight Errol Spence, or because he didn't fight a Keith Thurman or something like that. But instead of y'all wanting to see him fight a Terrence Crawford, a Errol Spence, Keith Thurman and all that, y'all want to see him keep fighting lower level. And I don't even want to say lower level opposition, but y'all want to see him fight guys like Barrios, which is not a problem. Fight guys like Barrios or Mean Machine Stanionis, or Butayev, you know what I mean? Like, y'all want to see him fight, guys like that. And then when he beat guys like that, then y'all want to say, well, he don't want to smoke with Bud. He don't want that. And the same people now that's saying all of this stuff about Jaron Ennis don't want to smoke with Bud, or if Bud caught him with them same shots, y'all was the same people who believed that Errol Spence was going to beat Terrence Crawford. And y'all know y'all was them same people who said that, oh man, Bud too small, Spence gonna stop him. I never ever believed that Errol Spence could beat Terrence Crawford. And when I did my video about that fight, I said exactly how that fight was gonna go. And it went exactly the way that I said it would go. And then when he destroyed Errol Spence, Y'all made up excuses for Spence instead of giving Bud his credit. So y'all need to make up your mind which side of the scale y'all, or which side of the street y'all trying to be on. So before he beat Errol Spence, all y'all was saying that he too small. But none of y'all paid attention to the fact that as he went up in weight, his power translate with him. Certain fighters have that with them, where their power translate with them as they go up. Terrence Crawford is one. Gervonta Davis is another one. And Jaron Ennis is another one. As he go up, his power goes with him. But see, y'all don't know that because, you know, y'all only looking at certain things. Y'all not looking at the entire scope of the whole situation. Y'all not looking at that. Y'all can say that Terrence Crawford can beat Jaron Ennis, but I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying that Boots will beat him either. And if they fought each other, it's going to be a hard fight. And they both going to have to earn it. It's not going to be easy. But as I stated, if and until that fight happens, everybody got they a-holes. And y'all know what I mean by that. Opinions. Because everybody got one. That's why I never said Jaron Ennis was going to beat Terrence Crawford, and I never said Terrence Crawford was going to beat Jaron Ennis. And if you talk to both fighters, you'll hear them say the same thing. You never heard Terrence Crawford say Jaron Ennis would be easy work. That's all the critics and all y'all people who never been in a ring, never boxed a day in y'all life saying stuff like that. And you never heard Jaron Ennis say Terrence Crawford would be easy work. You never heard it. Because they both know. They both know once they step in there, that's going to be one for the ages. But I knew that Errol Spence was going to be easy work for Terrence Crawford. And I knew that Errol Spence would be easy work for Jaron Ennis if Boots would have fought Spence. And everybody said that Jaron Ennis wouldn't beat Errol Spence before he lost to Terrence Crawford. As soon as he lost to Crawford, oh man, no, Spence don't want no smoke with Boots. Everybody shifted from being Errol Spence fans. And everybody jumped on the Bud bandwagon now. That's what everybody did. Same people making videos about, Errol Spencer destroy Bud and all that type of stuff. Some of y'all was the same ones making them videos. As soon as he destroyed Errol Spence, now all of a sudden y'all sneaking these Bud videos in now like y'all was always in support of that. I always supported Terrence Crawford. I support Jaron Ennis too. Y'all can go back and look at my videos. Because I was doing videos about Boots when he wasn't even on nobody's radar. And then when people was paying attention to him, nobody thought that he was going to get to the level that he's at now. And for y'all clowns who sitting up there, who's in my last video said, oh man, it's funny. How can you say that Terrence Crawford went up in weight, till, because he was running from Boots or to avoid fighting Jaron Ennis. See, that's how I know a lot of y'all really don't be watching videos for real. If you watch the video and you really listen to what I was saying, I said one could make the argument. But I did say Errol Spence and Virgil Ortiz, they definitely went up to 54 to avoid fighting Jaron Ennis. Yeah, I said they did. Yeah, and I stand on that. But I never said Terrence Crawford went up to 154 to avoid fighting Jaron Ennis. I said because he allowed himself to be stripped of that belt, of the IBF title, and he went up to 154 to fight somebody who's 10-0 with 7 knockouts. I said one could make the argument. One could make the argument. I never said he went up there to avoid Boots. In fact, I said the quite opposite. I never said that he was scared of Jaron Ennis or that he was avoiding Jaron Ennis. What I said was, Bud Crawford has a different agenda. Pay attention when I'm talking and then y'all understand what I'm saying instead of trying to, take and twist up and misconstrue what I'm saying. So if and until the fight happens, everybody can just only speculate. Nobody knows for sure how this fight is going to play out. Yeah, y'all can say, y'all can have y'all opinions. Yeah, you're entitled to it. But you can't say for sure that Bud is going to beat Jaron Ennis or that Jaron Ennis is going to beat Bud. Can't say it. And I know with me making this video still, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. But you can't say that a fighter can't take a punch. And then when he, takes some shots, now all of a sudden that shows, that he's inferior to another fighter because he took some punches. And then when a fighter don't let their hands go, y'all saying that the fighter's scared to let his hands go because they don't want to get hit. And then the same people that's saying that say, well, it's a fight. How can you not expect to get hit? Right, it's a fight. How many of y'all have been in fights and never got hit? Unless y'all was some cowards and sucker punched the person from the back without them seeing it coming and just knocked them straight out. But if you in the ring boxing, you gonna get hit. I don't care if you getting hit on your shoulders, on your elbows. I don't care if you blocking the punch, getting hit on the glove. You're still going to get hit some kind of way. Sometimes you get hit flush, sometimes you don't. Terrence Crawford has gotten hit flush in his career, but when he got hit, like Bud got a chin. But when Boots get hit flush, now all of a sudden, oh man, no, if Bud catching with that shot, oh man, this gonna be over for him. Stop it. Just stop it. And even Terrence Crawford said, and I said this once, I'll say it again. Even Terrence Crawford said that Jaron Ennis was the biggest threat in the welterweight division. He said it out of his own mouth. And you think for 1 minute Terrence Crawford believed that because David Avanesyan caught Boots with some good shots, that mean that he's not a top fighter or he's inferior to him? You think that he really believed that? Okay. Y'all can think that all y'all want. But Jaron Ennis is not underestimating Terrence Crawford, and Terrence Crawford is not underestimating Jaron Ennis. We just have to let the politics or politics of business take care of itself and hope that the fight will happen. And if the fight happens, then we will see. But until then, come on, man. Give Jaron Ennis his credit. I give Jaron Ennis his credit, and I give Terrence Crawford his credit. Because they both are elite fighters. And Terrence Crawford knows Jaron Ennis is an elite fighter. And that's why even Terrence Crawford said, that fight with Boots will happen all with time. With time. Okay? And even when Bud got stripped of the belt, I never said that Bud, let them strip him because he was scared to fight Boots. Nah, I said he had a different agenda. Him fighting Jaron Ennis was just not in his agenda. That's it. So don't misconstrue or twist up my words and say, oh, wow, you said that he went up to 54 because he's running from Jaron Ennis. Never said that. Some of y'all need to pay attention, instead of just talking. Just pay attention. But Jaron Ennis is an elite fighter. And it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? Like I said, I was at the fight. Yeah, Avanesyan, caught him with some shots. Yep. But the shots that counted was the ones that made David Avanesyan quit on his stool. Those are the ones that count. And Boots proved that he can take a punch. But the fact that he can take a punch doesn't mean nothing to y'all. Y'all just looking at that like, like that's kinks in his armor. But he didn't make up no excuses for it. He said, man, I got caught with some shots I probably shouldn't have got caught with. I need to listen to my dad more. He said, I didn't think that year layoff would affect me. So, when you had that layoff, yeah. But he stayed in the gym, though. Just like Terrence Crawford stayed in the gym. And now he's going up to 154 to fight Israel Madrimov. So we're going to see how that fight plays out, even though I got Terrence Crawford, stopping Madrimov. Now, if that fight go 12 rounds, y'all same people, watch how y'all switch up on Bud and say, oh, man, he let that guy hang around. If that would have been such and such, they would have got him out of there. Some of y'all boxing critics is funny, especially the ones that never wore a pair of gloves or been inside that ring. Hitting the bag is nothing. But being in there with an actual body is a whole different situation. Somebody in there with a brain who's thinking, trying to outthink you. It's a whole different situation. Drop the comments in the comment section below and let me know what y'all think about Jaron Ennis versus David Avanesyan.